Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar should be main eventing night one of WrestleMania.
And I've got my response for Joe's hot take that came out at Monday regarding, are there any true heels in wrestling right now?
Stay tuned after our little intro thing, and we'll get right into it. All right, and welcome back to this fantastic episode of Wrestle Stop. My name is Joe. This here is Jeff.
Yes, sir.
And Jeff,
what's up?
My friend, let's hear it.
Let's hear it. Alrighty. So Joe put out his hot take on Monday that there are no true heels in wrestling.
Stand by it.
Today, and there probably can't be true heels in wrestling in today's world. My response to that is not a true rebuttal, but I'm actually going to agree with you today. I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to the late 80s when a cartoon character came into our lives. Are you aware of Bart Simpson?
I am aware of Bart Simpson.
I've thought long, and before I've had a conversation with Holly regarding this. Bart Simpson was one of the true mainstream anti-heroes that kind of started the turn of our society. You learn into, the late 80s, you had Bart Simpson, you had Al Bundy, leading in, going through the 90s, you had Stone Cold, and then on HBO, the biggest show of probably the 90s and early 2000s was Sopranos. People loved Tony Soprano, but he was not a hero. He was a heel. But he was an anti-hero. So the society changed. We stopped rooting for our true heroes in like a Hulk Hogan and all that. And we really started rooting for Bart Simpson, Tony Soprano, Breaking Bad. Walter White was an anti-hero. So those really kind of took over our society. And in wrestling, we had guys like Stone Cold and now Randy Orton that are really leading the way. Okay. If WWE wants a true hero, the only way they're going to get it is they have to make a character so good we hate them. If you go back to the early 2000s, there was Right to Censor. Do you remember Right to Censor? You didn't have the Godfather. You had the Good Father.
I remember the name. I was, at that point, I don't remember what I was watching. I didn't watch a ton of WWE then, but...
Yeah, that was right around the height of the WCW time, but I was watching both. And but yeah, they came out in their white shirts and their black ties and their black pants.
They look like Geek Squad employees.
Yeah, they complained about how raunchy the WWE had gotten, and they were so good, you hated them because nobody wants goodness anymore. So if they want to make like somebody like a Cody Rhodes a heel, maybe they make them so good we hate them.
Fair, but... The Right to Censor, going to that, I have a couple things for this, but for the Right to Censor group you mentioned, were they classified as heels or faces?
I think they were heels, and people booed them. They weren't cheered.
Right. So they were heels.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. You have to be so good, you're a heel. And nobody cheered them because they were against everything that the fans were cheering for at the time. Did the camera show?
No. Camera's still on.
Okay.
We just lost our thing.
Lost our image. Okay.
But hang on, let me stop this. Real quick. Okay. I think, Right to Censor was a heel faction. The crowd wanted to boo them, so they were heels, right? They weren't doing the things they were doing, and the crowd was cheering for it.
Right.
Even though they were supposed to be heels. Let's go back to what match in your mind, in your brains, in your Jeff brains, is
Jeffonomics. It's
your
coming up later.
Jeffonomics is better to you. What match do you think we're fondly of? Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns from whatever WrestleMania. I don't care which one. Or Hulk Hogan and King Kong Bundy.
I mean, we're going nostalgia here. Hulk Hogan and King Kong Bundy.
Why,
that's the first WrestleMania I ever seen.
Oh, okay, well,
but no, it's also that you had a true face versus a true heel. And in your video, you mentioned that even faces aren't faces anymore. Cody's not above using a chair. Cody's not above using his watch. I agree with you in that there is no true heels and true faces anymore. But I think it's going to be easier to get a true heel than it is going to be a true face because we want to root for anti-heroes anymore. But it's got to be a heel that the people don't like somebody who's telling us be good, be a goody two shoes. Nobody wants to be that anymore.
Okay.
So you make the character so good, we hate them. Because if you look back, the right to censor,
I mean, it's almost like Kit Wilson now.
Yeah, well, yes,
Yeah.
but
I'm listening. I'm just going to fix the screen real quick.
But he has a catchy catchphrase that people like. So they've given fans a reason to cheer for them. That was like right to censor. Nobody cheered for them because they didn't have any, like, you want somebody so boring, so textbook boring that they're reading, you're breaking the code, that we can't be TV 14, we're TV PG. You can't have bra and panty matches. You can't have those type of matches. They're so good, they're boring, or they go against fun. And again, I don't know that it would work because you can't give them, you just got to make sure not to give them like Coke. Again, going back to Kit Wilson, everybody loves chanting toxic. It's hilarious. It's funny.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, somebody like that, but less fun.
Okay. Thanks for agreeing with me.
No problem. I mean, I'm not going to argue just to argue. This ain't that type of debate show. We're going to argue if we disagree, but I'm not going to come up with a fake argument just to come up with an argument.
I just think the matches feel more special, not in every single case. Like, we'll talk about it actually coming up. All right, this will be a lead into our next topic of Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar. They're kind of tweeners, right? But Brock Lesnar's probably more heelish, and Oba Femi's more face-ish.
I think, but Brock Lesnar's more heelish right now, not necessarily his character, but more for his outside wrestling antics and everything he's got going on legally right now. People have turned against him, but he still gets a pop.
He does, because he's like a legend and stuff like that. But I still miss the days of the Hulk Hogan, King Kong Bundy, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant.
Yes. Hulk Hogan versus
Ricky
the Iron
Steamboat
Sheik
versus Honky Tonk Man or whatever.
The one thing, going back to your, some of the last true heels going back to the 80s were Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov. You're playing into hatred and stereotypes. And that's one of the reasons. Back then,
you could do that. You can't do that now.
That's what I'm getting at. That's one of the reasons why today it's hard to have those type of true heels, because people don't like to play into stereotypes. Goldust, when he was around, was a heel because people hated his quirkiness and his tendencies that were,
Explain.
you know what I'm saying. But God, there was the match between him and Roddy Piper. And one of the things Goldust did to make his opponents uncomfortable was to touch them or rub them. And, that type of hatred we're trying to work out of our society right now.
And I get that. I have my opinions on that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just leave that alone.
Yeah.
But I think, I'll just leave that alone. I think in the world of entertainment, when you go into a show that is entertainment, you check all of that, you leave it at the door. You come in and you just look to be entertained. You look for silliness like the Goldust character and stuff like that. And people need to stop taking things personally, but that's...
Yeah, and again...
I'm not trying to get into any of that, but...
My quick rebuttal without getting into it is I agree with you, but there are those who feel empowered by that type of character. And we'll leave it at that. So moving on.
Moving on to the next one. Forget all that. Moving on.
Like our content lately, has been doing well. But what's been blowing up is anytime we post anything or we talk about Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
The crowd goes wild. We get a bunch of views. We get a bunch of comments, likes on both sides. We get people who want Oba Femi to win. We got people think that he's too new and that Brock Lesnar needs to go over. At this point, this is going to be the most popular match going into WrestleMania unless something happens in the next 2 weeks. So should Oba versus Lesnar be one of the main events?
In my opinion, 100% yes. It's not going to, because you're going to have, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton on one night, and you're going to have CM Punk and Roman Reigns on the other. But I think they should do a switch up. I think the Oba Femi Brock Lesnar match has more crowd interest, at least more crowd interest than the Cody Rhodes one.
You think so?
Yeah, I think a lot of people want to see CM Punk and CM Punk and Roman Reigns fight. They want to see that fight. I think more people want to see that than the Cody Rhodes Randy Orton fight. I think more people want to see Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar than they want to see Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton fight.
So how would you do that then? Where would you put the different matches on what nights?
I would probably leave CM Punk and Roman Reigns to close it out. That'd be my night 2.
Okay.
And I'd put Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar in night 1. Now, the contingency there is that this isn't going to be a squash one way or the other. Now, you don't want to have a main event where Oba Femi or Brock Lesnar comes out and just squashes the other guy in 30 seconds. You don't want that.
Yeah, especially at night 1, because that deflates all energy and going into momentum going into night 2.
Right. So if it's going to be an actual match, and I've seen people, even in our comments, like you were messaging or that you were mentioning, Oba Femi's just going to squash Lesnar and stuff like that, which I can 100% see happening. If you remember Goldberg and Brock Lesnar from a few years ago, Goldberg smashed him in like 30 seconds, right? I can see that happening again. I hope that doesn't happen. I'd like to see a good, just 2 beefy guys just going at it for a while. I know both guys probably, they can't do the high flying stuff as much, and they can't do that, but a lot of power wrestling, which would be cool.
A lot of Suplex City.
Yeah, a lot of Suplex City. Lesnar is a professional, an actual wrestler. Yeah. Oba Femi is a collegiate athlete, which somebody else mentioned to me as well.
He's a shot putter.
Comment.
He was a shot putter.
Yeah, I knew he was a shot putter, but what didn't click to me was Lesnar's daughter is also a shot putter.
Yes.
So that might make Lesnar
a little bit more
be
respect.
A little more respect and a little more willing to put Oba Femi over.
That's a good point. I had not thought about that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either. So shout out to that person who commented on that. Yeah. I'll put it up somewhere.
Yeah. We love those type of comments, so keep them coming.
So hang on. So yes, answer your question. Oba Femi Lesnar should be main eventing night 1. Reigns CM Punk night 2.
Quick rebuttal. I'm gonna.
This isn't a rebuttal show. That was only the first one.
I'm gonna leave the championship matches where they're at because you always end on a championship match. But I definitely think Oba versus Brock should open one of the 2 shows. I think Oba versus Brock opening night 1 would just set the tone. Again, as long as it's not a squash match, and just people would be so hyped for the rest of WrestleMania.
What match, Jeff, on the WrestleMania card so far this year, at this current moment, are you most hyped for?
What match am I most excited for? Mm-hmm. Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar.
So if that match opens day 1, right?
Yeah.
It's the first match on day 1. That match happens. Whether it's a letdown or whether you enjoyed the match, how are you going to feel about the rest of WrestleMania? You have nothing really to look forward to as far as what you are looking forward to has already happened now.
Yeah, but
so now the rest of it's just kind of like.
But I also don't want Kit Wilson versus Jelly Roll as the opening match, knowing that every match that comes after it is going to be better. And
I think differently. When I watch it, I think of it as a progression, right? Okay, this is the first match. That match was pretty good. I can't wait to see what's next because it's going to be better than that match. And then when that match happens, I can't wait to see what's next. And then that leads you to the main event. And these are hopes. I know it doesn't work this way. I'm not stupid. But and then you get to the main event. This should be the best match of the night.
Last year's Cena versus Cody Rhodes match at WrestleMania was expected by many to be one of the best matches. And it was one of the main events. And it was the main event of night 2. And it was a big letdown.
Yeah, because they booked the whole thing wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's been, it had, what's his name? The rapper.
Yeah, don't worry about that. He doesn't exist anymore because they dropped that storyline. So we'll drop that topic.
He still exists. But,
Travis Scott. Yeah,
Travis Scott. That's what it is.
Speaking of bad bookings and good bookings and booking things right or wrong, we're going to move on. Yeah. Monday Night Raw last night was awesome. It's been better than the last few Raws. Lately, SmackDown has been really a lot better than Raw with everything going on. But last night's Raw was pretty good.
Yeah.
So what do you think happened? Is it the excitement for the Brock and Oba, or do you think just overall Raw was better last night?
Raw was way better last night than it has been. I'll kind of disagree with you a little bit, saying that SmackDown has been a better product overall than Raw. I feel like they kind of go back and forth, right? Raw one week will be great and SmackDown will suck. And then the next SmackDown will be pretty good, but the Raw sucks.
Yeah, I guess SmackDown's been more memorable the last few weeks.
Maybe it's been more consistent.
Because I'm just going by highlights. The Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes stuff has been peak. Whereas I haven't been as into the CM Punk and the Roman Reigns stuff. So maybe, again, looking back, my memory is of the end of the show, not the show themselves. But no, go ahead. Proceed with your Raw talk.
But what concerns me is this Monday Night Raw. I don't know what the date was for when you're watching this.
March 30th.
March 30th, Monday Night Raw. So whenever you're watching this, was so far above and beyond the last few months of Monday Night Raw, which concerns me a little bit. I know they were in Madison Square Garden. I know that is like a big venue for them, and
just a hyped crowd makes the show feel so much better. We've talked about that with the international crowds.
19,000 people there, something like that, which is huge for like just a Monday night show, right? That's almost like, that's bigger than some of the lesser PLEs get.
Yes, yeah.
Which is huge. But why stack it that way? And then next week, is Raw just going to be mid again?
The hope is that next week's Raw is a little bit better, and then the week after is a little bit better with the 2 Raws leading into WrestleMania.
Yeah,
you want a crescendo.
Hope.
Yes. I mean, obviously, we'll see. Hey, I'm an optimist. I got my fingers crossed.
I mean, going into last night, there were only, 5 matches on WrestleMania, and they did 4 last night. I mean, these matches should have already probably have been in the works a little bit. I know some of them, injuries, things like that people have had, but I don't know. I feel like that Raw was good, and it makes me nervous that they're only going to do good shows in like prime venues like Madison Square Garden or stuff like that. I don't know where they're next week. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't pay attention
to that. Are they
going
to go there and it's just going to be another
I just think it's all on the crowd. Again, we've talked about how watching an international PLE feels better than watching the US PLEs just because they don't stop chanting. That soccer crowd, they just
I think
chant
it's that, and I don't think they don't get to see it as often.
Well, yes, that is true as well. But the New York, they don't go to New York any more or less than any other part of the U.S. It's just certain crowds are just different.
Well, they went there Monday, and they're going there again for Saturday night's main event.
Yeah.
Hang on. Bing, bing, bing. Okay. I don't know. I just concerns me that show was so good, but every show leading up to it was kind of, eh. And I would get that in like certain times of the year. Going into WrestleMania, though, every show should be on point.
Banger after banger after banger. Yes, sir.
Just so, they got to be tying storylines together, especially now that you got guys that are hurt, which leads us kind of into our next thing.
Yeah, speaking of guys being hurt and not necessarily, you said last night they announced they have several new matches. Last night that Gunther came out during Heyman being confronted by Seth Rollins, and he put Seth Rollins in a sleeper hold. Took him out, and then he pointed up
himself open somehow. I didn't even see how he did it.
Yeah, I missed that part too. But he pointed up at the WrestleMania sign, and then Adam Pearce comes out and announces Gunther versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, where did this come from? There's no established storyline or anything between those two that I can think of. I don't remember Gunther feuding with Seth Rollins or The Vision. They're both kind of heel characters the last year or so. Are they setting something up with Gunther being a Heyman guy now?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. Because Heyman didn't even really acknowledge Gunther last night. Maybe it's because he was hurt or whatever it was, but he didn't really even acknowledge that Gunther came out.
Yeah, that would be some sort of a play for the Vision.Maybe they'll come out next week and say that was my vision all along, is to recruit him. But yes, it was a very awkward transition.
Yes. Where was I going with this? I think where it resulted was, Gunther was supposed to fight Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio got hurt. Yes. Seth Rollins was supposed to fight Braun Breaker. Obviously, Braun Breaker isn't going to be ready. So you got Seth Rollins, you got Gunther, 2 of the biggest stars on the show. What do we do with them? Kind of like we said last week with LA Knight and Gunther, just throw them together somehow. They did that, but they just did it with Gunther and Seth Rollins, which is probably a better match. We just weren't thinking Braun Breaker wasn't going to be ready.
Right, yes. And again, I look back on this match as like some of my favorite matches growing up were from 2 of my favorite wrestlers, but when Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart used to wrestle. Shawn Michaels reminds me a lot of, or Seth Rollins reminds me a lot of Shawn Michaels, and Gunther is more your tactical wrestler like a Bret Hart. Yeah. So I can see the 2 of them having different contrasting wrestling styles, and then you throw in the power of Gunther as well. And I think that's a really good contrasting style with 2 great wrestlers that can really put on a great show.
Yeah, I have no problem with the match. I wish they had more time to build it up. This is one of the few times where I'll be like, okay, I'll give him a pass on this because their original plans got screwed up due to injuries. So I feel like they did the best thing they could. Put Gunther, Seth Rollins together. I think it's going to be a banger of a match. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I'm going to put one last prediction out there. I'm going to borrow the Joe Stradamus hat.
Oh,
and
it's a big hat. I got a big hat, man.
That crossed my mind last night is if Gunther is a Heyman guy and they came out and decided to add him to the Vision stable, very rarely does Paul Heyman lead a stable. Right. He's always been more in Brock's corner, in CM Punk's corner, in Roman Reigns' corner. I guess he led the bloodline, but he was more with Roman Reigns.
Seth Rollins for a while.
Seth Rollins this last year and then the Vision. But are they going to lead this maybe as a way to him to turn on Brock Lesnar down the line to set up the much rumored Brock Lesnar versus Gunther retirement match?
Also a strong possibility, and I did think that while I was watching the show last night, or on Monday night. Yeah, I mean, the rumor was going to be Gunther retiring Lesnar, or at least in a retirement match against Lesnar at SummerSlam. And maybe this is kind of like Triple H planting his little seeds just to kind of get it started.
Yeah.
Could be. I know Triple H likes his long form storytelling. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But we'll see where it goes.
So let's tie these next two together. These kind of correspond. Last night, we noticed last week that the Vision tag team, Logan Paul and Austin Theory, have been showing up their last couple matches, and Paul Heyman has been with them backstage, but not at ringside.
Yeah.
So last night in their match for the tag team championship that Paul Heyman demanded versus the Usos, he didn't come down and be ringside with them.
Yeah, that's really strange to me.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there probably isn't much of a storyline there. But to me there is.
Yeah.
Right? He comes out with Brock Lesnar. He comes out to talk to Seth Rollins. The Vision, though, who are part of his stable, the stable that he created with Seth Rollins, is fighting for a title against the Usos, who also has ties with Paul Heyman from the bloodline, and he's not there. And then he talks about it later.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, he told the Vision, you guys want to be at WrestleMania? I need you guys to be at WrestleMania. You need to go after the tag team titles.
Right.
And then last week, after the Jey Uso used the brass knuckles to win that match, he went backstage and demanded a rematch, a no DQ match, which led to the street fight last night. So, I'm curious if there's a story building here that we're not aware of, or if it's just something, just nothing that we're making a big deal out of.
Probably that.
Yeah.
We tend to do that a little bit on this channel. We're aware of it.
We're overthinkers.
But yeah, it's just very weird to me. I don't know. If you're going to do like the Heyman stuff, if he's going to come out with Lesnar, he's going to come out to confront Seth Rollins, which remember, he's confronting Seth Rollins because Seth Rollins was the leader of the Vision.
Yes.
Why not also come out with the Vision?
So something that just crossed my mind. I
saw the gears turning.
Yeah, where did Logan Paul get the brass knucks last night?
He got them from his mother.
From his mom, who is seated ringside with I Show Speed.
Yes.
Just a coincidence. Had Paul Heyman been ringside, it wouldn't have made sense for Logan Paul's mom to have the brass knucks.
Unless his mom is going to wrestle.
That would be amazing. But yeah, maybe that's the storyline there. They just didn't want Paul Heyman ringside because it would have made less sense for the mom to have the brass knucks at that point. So maybe we are thinking too deep and the answer was right in front of us and we overlooked it. But speaking of that, so I Show Speed ended up accidentally giving the Vision the knucks that they used to knock out Jimmy Uso.
He punched LA Knight first.
He accidentally
punched
Jimmy.
Everybody, when someone taps your shoulder, you turn around and swing.
Yes.
That's everyone's first reaction.
So now he's been reluctantly brought into the Vision, and they're telling him, we're the only people can protect you because, now LA Knight's coming after you. So are they doing something with this?
Oh, God, I hope
Do we want to talk about that, or do we can bail one out? Maybe we'll save that.
We will talk about it. I don't think right now is the time, but in I Show Speed versus LA Knight at WrestleMania doesn't do it for me, Jeff.
No, not at all.
It's not doing it for me, and that will prove to everybody once and for all that LA Knight is being buried.
Boom. So last night, again, we talked that the Vision won the tag team championships from the Uso, which was kind of odd a couple weeks before WrestleMania. Well, on SmackDown last week, Sami Zayn answered Carmelo Hayes' U.S. Open challenge and won the U.S. Championship, which he was demanding a match at WrestleMania, and the GM, Nick Aldis, told him there wasn't room for you. So he went and got his match. He won the title, got his match at WrestleMania. What do you think about them changing the title this close to WrestleMania this many times? It kind of caught me off guard, both shows.
The only thing I can think of, it is weird to me as well. I cannot remember a previous WrestleMania season, and I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. I'm wrong a lot, and I can own up to it, but I can't remember a time in WrestleMania season, especially 3-4 weeks out, where so many titles were changing.
Yeah.
I mean, even
Cody and Drew.
Yeah, exactly. It's very strange to me. So the only thing I can think of is this. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
The Usos lose the title to the Vision. That allows the Usos storyline creativity to rejoin the Bloodline. With the titles, maybe WWE thought it was kind of...
Why did they need the Vision?
Why do they need that? And then the Sami Zayn one is even more stupid than that one.
Dude, Carmelo Hayes has been such a beast lately.
He's been a monster. Yeah, taking the title off him this right now was dumb. But they needed a way to... What's the word I'm looking for? Like, for it to make sense that Sami Zayn is on the the WrestleMania card.
Yeah.
The only way to do that is by giving him a title. So then, because if he didn't do that match, what would be the reason to get him on the card?
I mean,
there wasn't one really.
We've been kind of predicting maybe a potential 3-way match between. I guess we were predicting Carmelo Hayes and Dragunov, but we've been they've been going back and forth with Sami Zayn and Trick Williams. They could have had Trick Williams come out and cost him that match, and they had already guaranteed Trick Williams a match at WrestleMania. They could have said that he was getting the shot against Carmelo Hayes, and then because he cost Sami Zayn the championship that night, then they throw him in as the 3-way. But the rumor is not a rumor, but a thought is that maybe they want Trick Williams to win, but they didn't want Carmelo Hayes to take the loss at WrestleMania to Trick Williams.
I think it looks worse.
I agree, but maybe they're going to build a rivalry between the two of them.
I mean, they were tag partners in NXT, but yeah, I think it looks worse to lose like he did to Sami Zayn. And I'm not saying Sami Zayn shouldn't beat anybody or anything like that. This isn't a knock on Sami Zayn, but I think with that thought, it looks worse to lose to Sami Zayn on SmackDown or whatever it was than to lose to Trick Williams at WrestleMania.
One last thought. WrestleMania is late this year. It's normally the first weekend in April.
Right.
So you've got normally a month between Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania. With them pushing it back 2 weeks, is it just a way, it's an extra 2 weeks of stories they have to tell. It's just a way to keep people excited. We talked about earlier trying to build momentum going into WrestleMania. People usually get, usually by Elimination Chamber, the titles are set and they're building toward matches. But them having a longer period, maybe they thought it'd be a little bit more sporadic, a little bit more randomness that would keep
probably just excited. Trying to make the
reason to tune in.
A little juicier, a little bit more of like you say a lot, the spontaneity of anything could happen on any show, which I'm fine with, but it has to make sense.
Yes.
And I feel like a couple of these didn't make sense. Taking the title off Drew didn't make sense when I know he's leaving, but he can just lose the title.
He could have lost it at WrestleMania. I mean, the same thing with Sammy. For him to win it, had he snapped and answered Aleister Black's call to go dark and won the championship, that would have made more sense story-wise. Had he snapped and cheated to beat Carmelo Hayes, you're at least following the storyline you've been running with Sami Zayn, going back to your boy Karrion Kross, back to last year. They've been talking about Karrion Kross and now Aleister Black have been trying to get Sami Zayn to embrace his dark side. So, but I'm going to end up. Why don't you talk about meeting him soon?
Well, we'll talk about it. Okay. I'm going to Astronomicon coming up next week, the week after, whenever it is.
I think it's next weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, getting some pictures and some stuff autographed by Karrion Kross. I'll make sure I show it.
Yes, I know you're super hyped.
I might do a whole episode just on that.
Yeah, I look forward to watching it. I'm going to be out of town. Unfortunately, I can't go to that with you, but I'm super excited to see your.
Brooke's going to record it on the phone so you can see how dumb I am.
It's gonna be like a little schoolgirl.
But I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be exciting. There's some other wrestlers there too. So I don't know. There'll be some stuff coming up for that. Other than that, though, we got hot takes on Mondays. Trying to get them in on Thursdays as well.
Well, Thursdays, on Sundays and Thursdays, we've got your card break videos.
They're not all card break videos.
Well, I'm sorry, I call them card breaks, but they're opening videos, random collectible opening videos.
Side quests.
Side quests. Yes, that's it. That's the word I was looking for.
And so we have side quests on Sundays and Thursdays as well. Jeff has all 700,419,000 of his shorts that come out daily. So yeah, we got content every day. There's got to be something you like on here, and if not,
let us know. We'll add more.
Yeah, we can always add more content. I mean, there's 7 days a week. We only have 5 or 6 long form videos coming out. We can always add more. But other than that, make sure you guys like this video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell.
Ding dong.
Yeah, that's about it. Got anything?
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, and comment down there. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys Friday. Thank you for watching another episode of Wrestle Stop. If you liked what you saw, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon. You can reach us at any of the addresses on screen. And there's a couple extra videos here on the screen. If you liked what you saw, maybe you'll like one of these as well. Thanks for watching.